Whether you're new to Harley or a seasoned pro, Tilly has the bike for you. Come experience the freedom of the ride. Feel the thrill of the road and the thunder that only a Harley can provide. Stop by Tilly Harley Davidson of Statesville or go to TillyHD.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4, that's 844-788-3464 is the phone number. Anything you want to chat about for the next, let's call it, 54, 53 minutes, somewhere around there. I'm going to be here chatting about everything going on in the world of sports. Local, regional, national, pretty much everything you can want. I'm going to have it for you here on the Scoreboard. One thing that I want to let you guys know is Team USA, all of Team USA, the Olympics is, they're starting to put together a few good runs here. Yesterday we talked about how they were behind by 5 in the gold medal count. Well, they actually knocked that lead down. Team USA currently sits second in gold medals with 9. You had a few big ones today. Simone Biles getting another gold medal. Only the third Olympian, only the third one to win the all-around gymnastics twice for a gold medal. Pretty good right there if you ask me. We also are going to talk a little Major League Baseball. We got some NFL news. I've been delaying talking about this because it's annoying and I personally don't like it. But the NFL not long ago finalized the new kickoff. They announced it earlier in the year back in May. That the kickoff was going to be different. Now it's official. We're going to have a very weird kickoff. It's going to be interesting. So I'll have those rules for you, as well as an update around the league, some more injuries, a big injury earlier today, and a scary injury as well out of Cleveland. So we're going to talk some NFL today. Obviously, it's right around the corner. Right around the corner, meaning 2 hours from now, you're going to get to watch some football. Game starts in 3 hours. Festivities are going to start in a couple of hours here. The Hall of Fame game, some people being inducted to the Hall of Fame. So we'll go through all of that here on the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4, that's 844-788-3464. Have you guys been keeping up with the Olympics at all? I have, and I'll tell you what, I have more questions than anything right now. Number one, I was watching fencing, okay, and I know what fencing is. We all know what fencing is, but I was watching fencing, and I'm just thinking to myself, how do you get into this? Like, how do you, at a young age, realize that you're good at fencing? Where do you go to train for fencing? Like, look, respect to them, okay? It's great to see. It's a pretty cool sport when you watch. But how do you, like, it's not a high school sport, right? Like, you can't go to your local high school and say, hey, I want to join the fencing team. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just not around this area. I don't know. I'm just curious. You know, fencing is one of those things where it's, you look at it and you go, I wonder how you get into that. There's others as well. I mean, water polo. Like, how do you realize you're good at water polo? I don't, and I'm not making fun of it at all. I'm just saying it's interesting. All of these different sports that we see during the Olympics, and we're not going to hear from them again. You know, you go to the Olympics and all of a sudden archery is big, and then you finish the Olympics and you don't hear about any archery for another 4 years. Same with artistic swimming and badminton and, you know, shooting and sailing, the triathlons, which, okay, triathlon is it makes a lot more sense to me on how you train for it. But still, like, how do you do, like, so I'm just a little confused on that. Not confused, more curious than anything. 844-STUDIO-4, that's 844-788-3464. We have a caller into our studio here in the first segment. Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air here on the Scoreboard.
Good afternoon, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Very good. We talked a few months ago. This is Usher Charlie, and I usher at one of the New York stadiums, although I can't tell you which one.
Uh-oh.
So if it's okay with you, can we talk a little bit about New York baseball?
Sure. Wait.
Right.
Mets or Yankees?
How about if you got time, we could do both.
Let's do both. Why not? Let's hit me with it. What do we got?
You pick the first team, and we'll talk.
All right, let's start with the worst one. We'll go with the Mets.
Okay, good. What do you think about the pitcher Blackburn they acquired from Oakland? I want to hear your views on this.
I think it's a good move, actually. You know, he's had a interesting year and an interesting career at that. This regular season, he's not posted the best ERA, but I'm not surprised about that. You know, when you're kind of buried in Oakland, it's hard for people to recognize how good you are. Same with, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but the pitcher over in Chicago who got traded to the Dodgers. He was good for a minute, and then it's, you know, he's on the White Sox. You're not really going to hear from him, but then he goes to a good team, and all of a sudden he regains what he had. Now, I'm not saying that Paul Blackburn is going to be a great number one guy for them, but it is a very good addition. And it's one that I thought flew under the radar on the deadline because there was so much that happened. This was a good move for a team that's hot right now. They're starting to get it together. And, you know, adding another arm, it's just going to help in the long run. And I like it. I thought it was a good addition.
Okay, one more existing player. What is your opinion on McNeil?
Yeah, you know, Jeff McNeil's an interesting one. I don't really have too much of a problem with him. One thing I will say is I don't understand how in this day and age you can be a batter in baseball, hit under 250 and not have more than 10 home runs. It's not the way the game is played nowadays. So
correct.
I wouldn't put him at a top echelon second baseman for any means, but he's not horrible. He's serviceable. And at second base, you just want somebody that's serviceable, in my opinion.
All right. Very good. All right, then let's do the counterpart for the Yankees.
Okay.
DJ LeMay. He had a great game yesterday. It was DJ LeMahieu 6, and it was Philadelphia 5. But tell me what you think about what happened to DJ this year, and then we'll talk about their acquisition.
Yeah, let's do that. You know what? Actually, if you can hang tight with me, I'm coming up on a commercial break here in about 20 seconds, and I do want to talk baseball with you. So just hang tight. I'm going to put you back on hold. Once we're back, I'll bring you back on and we'll chat, all right?
You got it. Go ahead.
Right. Sounds good. Appreciate the calls. And by the way, anybody else that wants to call in, 844-788-3464, MLB deadline passing, run to the playoffs. We'll talk more about that after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment from 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the tough heat hangs on as we round out the work week. Overnight staying muggy and warm. A partly cloudy sky as we fall back into the mid-70s around the Lake Norman area. Another tough day of heat on the way for our Friday, too. As we climb into those mid and upper 90s, feels like temperatures in the low 100s. Drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and, of course, getting in the air conditioning from time to time tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep an eye out for a round of scattered thunderstorms for the afternoon and evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Serenity Now Massage Therapy.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Birkdale Village in Huntersville welcomes back Dave Scott Crow and his Amusination Academy performance on Thursday, August 1st. Dave's concert and Pick Me Up open mic are events for the kids and the entire family. The show begins at 4:30 p.m. on the green. Parents, grandparents, and kids of all ages are welcome on Thursday afternoon at Birkdale Village for Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free concert series on Thursday, August 1st. Langtree Lake Norman is open for eats and drinks all afternoon, with Bad Romeo taking the stage at 7 p.m. From AC/DC to Whitesnake, Bad Romeo will bring back your 80s rock memories. Grab your lawn chairs, arrive early to get your favorite spot, and enjoy Langtree before, during, and after the show. We'll see you in Mooresville Thursday night for the Bad Romeo concert at Langtree Lake Norman. Friday night, Birkdale Village hosts Live Under the Oaks in Huntersville. String Theory presents a free concert from 6 to 8. Birkdale restaurants are open for dinner, while Red Rocks will serve beverages on site at the concert. Come on out Friday night for the String Theory concert at Birkdale Village. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for free early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
The number one station for people who say we're their favorite station.
WSIC.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back to the Scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Second segment here on this Thursday. Still have a caller here on our line. Let's go ahead and bring that caller back on air. All right, caller, you're back. You want to talk some Yankees? Let's do it.
Yes, let's talk about DJ. He was a one-man wrecking machine yesterday, but like McNeil of the Mets, DJ, both of them were batting champions. And they're both having an off year. Tell me your views on Mr. DJ.
You know, LeMahieu's interesting to me because I really liked him when he first went to New York, and he showed out when he first showed up. Had a couple of pretty good years. I really think what it boils down to with LeMahieu is he isn't a top star with top-end talent. He's very, very good player. Eventually, age catches up to everybody, and LeMahieu's up to 36 years old now. For a baseball player, especially somebody who plays multiple positions like LeMahieu, that's getting up there in age. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that's the only reason that he's struggling this year. I mean, batting under 200 is definitely struggling, but I think that is one of the reasons. I also think, he's not getting the consistent playing time that he used to get. When you got somebody like Oswaldo Cabrera who's playing third in front of him, they got Jazz Chisholm now who's going to be taking reps at third base. They were thinking about moving Gleyber Torres over there as well. It's one of those situations where I feel like he never got his feet under him for the season. And, it's nice to see a player like that have a game where you go, oh yeah, this guy was a batting champion once. He's a pretty good player. Whatever happened to him? So that's kind of my opinion on LeMahieu, at least.
All right, very good. All right, I'm going to give an opinion, and it's only my opinion, on a sleep dog that's going to make the playoffs and go well into the playoffs. And then please tell all the listeners your surprise candidate who's going to run into the playoffs and hopefully take it all or almost take it all, and then I won't monopolize your show anymore, Joe.
No, not a problem. I love talking to any caller. Who's your team?
All right, so St. Louis. They got some, I'm not saying they got really pristine acquisition, but they are going to be the new sleeping dog that's going to march right into the playoffs, and they are going to go well into the playoffs. That is my opinion.
Yeah,
who's your sleepy dog?
Oh, man. I don't know if they're really a sleepy dog anymore, and I also don't know if it's just me rooting for this, but I would love to see the Kansas City Royals continue this run that they're on after losing, I think it was 106 games last year. Continue this run they're on, make the playoffs, win a series or two, and really wreak havoc on these playoffs. They had a good deadline. They have one of the most exhilarating players in baseball right now in Bobby Witt Jr. That is my sleeper team, mostly because I really loved their storyline in the mid-2010s when they went to the World Series in back-to-back years. But that is my team that I've been keeping an eye on all year as somebody who you might not want to face them come playoff time.
All right, very good. Well, Joe, it's been a pleasure, and I'm going to call in again, and when there's new updates, I'll be talking to you about it.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate your call today.
All right. You have a good one, my friend.
You as well. Thank you for the call. And anybody else who wants to call in, phone lines are open for me here, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Yeah, I'll tell you what. The Cardinals are a team that flew under the radar as well during the trade deadline, mostly because right now, as we sit, they're not in a playoff spot, but they did have a very, very good deadline. So I wouldn't be surprised if, the American League playoff race right now is the National League playoff race right now is still wide open. Earlier in the year, we talked about how there was 4 good teams in the National League, and then everybody else was playing 500 baseball. Well, it's not really that way anymore. There are a lot more teams above 500 now, but they've still stayed pretty compact this year. I mean, you look at the Diamondbacks, who are the last wild card team right now. The Mets are a half game behind them. The Cardinals are a game and a half back. The Pirates, who, man, I guess they're invigorated with Paul Skeens right now being on the team. They're only 2.5 games back of the playoffs. So the NL race is wide open. And I wouldn't be surprised if a team that's currently in the wild card gets knocked out before the year ends. And the Cardinals, with what they were able to do at the trade deadline, I wouldn't be surprised if they're one of those teams that get into the playoffs, maybe win a series or two, and knock out somebody who we expect to go deep. And I'm not going to say they're going to beat the Dodgers. I'm not going to say they're definitely going to beat the Phillies or anything like that, but you never know. And we saw it last year with nobody thought that the Arizona Diamondbacks were going to go to the World Series. Nobody thought the Texas Rangers were going to go to the World Series. These are teams that won under 100 games. So it's not something that you expected, but they get hot at the right time. They make a couple of moves at the deadline that really invigorates the team, and all of a sudden they are hot. They're in the playoffs, and you just got to win the series. Baseball is a game of series. It always has been. Through the regular season it is. When you get to the playoffs, it's no different, except for, the wild card, but we don't have to worry about that too much. So I wouldn't be surprised. The Cardinals are definitely an interesting pick. I'm staying with those Kansas City Royals in the American League, at least, as my sleeper. I would love nothing more than to see that team, after going to the World Series and losing, winning the World Series, and then completely decimating the team, come back now almost 10, I think we're 10 years exactly from the first year that they made that World Series in the 2010s. Obviously, they went on to lose to the Giants in that one. Then they beat the Mets the next year, which was 2015, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they become a team to beat. There's going to be a sleeper this year. It happens every year. The teams that we expect to go deep, somebody falters. And it's just the way baseball's been. Now, it's going to be a little harder when we get to playoff time this year in the National Leagues. The Phillies, top to bottom, one of the best rosters in the league. The Dodgers, we know how much star power they have, top to bottom, pitching, hitting, everything that you could need on that team. And they got the names, too. And I'm not saying that they're just a team that has big names. They're a team that has big names that can also put it together at the right time. You know, Shohei Ohtani's a difference maker. He's going to be a difference maker as we get into the playoffs. And it's going to be nice to see Shohei Ohtani in the playoffs. That's another thing you got to remember. Some of these players, when they get to a good team, we've been waiting for them to be in the playoffs. And I always go back to Mike Trout, who decided a long time ago, it seems, that he doesn't ever want to leave the Angels, even though he's only played 3 playoff games with them. Ohtani leaves the Angels, he goes to the Dodgers, and he's going to be on the big stage now, which is what baseball needs. And it also, another thing is, you want those stars in the playoffs. You want those stars making deep runs, because that is how you market the game. You say, hey, look, the superstar here is bringing his team, not single-handedly, because you can't do anything single-handedly in baseball, but this guy here is bringing his team along into the playoffs. He hasn't done it before. He hasn't been competing in the playoffs before, but hey, here we are, and he's still performing at a high level. That's some of the things that brings storylines back to baseball. It brings fans back to baseball. You know, I talked about it during the All-Star break. Why do you not force your stars to participate in the home run derby? Why is it that we have to see people who hit 15 home runs in 100 games participating in the home run derby? And yeah, it was interesting. You got to see an upset and all that, but man, put the stars out there. Let the world on a national stage see your stars. I know baseball is happy. I don't think that there was any foul play involved, but I know that the MLB, Rob Manfred, everybody up in the MLB headquarters, they are ecstatic that Shohei Ohtani is going to be in the playoffs. They are so happy that the New York Yankees are going to be in the playoffs. Man, I'm sure they were happy that the Mets swept the Yankees in the Subway Series a couple of weeks ago, because that means you might get another New York team in the playoffs, as the Mets have been a very hot second-half team. They have cooled off a little bit, and they still have a little bit of work to do. But it just goes to show, man, like, hey, you want to see those big teams. You want to see those big stars in the playoffs. And we are right around the corner from that happening. Not that many games left in the regular season here. We're coming down to about 50 to go. Here's who you're going to want to keep an eye on, who's currently not in the playoffs as a team to watch. The American League is a little bit harder because there is a separation right now from the last team on the wild card to the next couple of teams. But the Seattle Mariners, even though they're not in the wild card right now, they are still eligible and have a very good chance to win the AL West. They're tied with the Astros right now. So you got to look at that and say, one of those teams isn't going to make the playoffs. Is it going to be the Astros, who have been a powerhouse over the last few years? Or is it going to be the new age Seattle Mariners with J-Rod over there? And you know, it just goes to show. Trade deadline changes things. The Mariners were busy at the deadline. The Dodgers, the Yankees, all those big teams, they were busy at the deadline. And it's going to be a fight to the playoffs. And then the race is really on. So we'll see what happens when we get there. But exciting times in baseball as the trade deadline has passed. Boy, Jazz Chisholm might have been the best pickup on the deadline. 4 home runs in 3 games for the Yankees. Whoo! Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the tough heat hangs on as we round out the work week. Overnight staying muggy and warm, partly cloudy skies. We fall back into the mid-70s around the Lake Norman area. Another tough day of heat on the way for our Friday, too. As we climb into those mid and upper 90s, feels like temperatures in the low 100s. Drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and of course, getting in the air conditioning from time to time. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll keep an eye out for a round of scattered thunderstorms for the afternoon and evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Bob McIntosh here with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Serving this community has been a collective passion of our law firm since 1997. We offer the quality legal services and results you would expect from a large downtown firm, but with a personal, community-focused approach right here at home. The McIntosh Law Firm, your local legal resource.
To learn more about the McIntosh Law Firm, visit McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Navigating Medicaid can be a challenge for anyone. Hire Crosswhite Law to help with Medicaid planning and asset protection. Crosswhite Law is here to protect you. Call 704-873-7233. CrosswhiteLaw.com.
If you're a builder and you haven't went to Little Shavers Wood Shop, you're missing all types of lumber products, hard to find woods and paneling materials that are in stock and ready to help you conquer anything the job throws your way. Locally owned, Little Shavers Wood Shop has a friendly, knowledgeable staff to get you in, out, and on with your day. Little Shavers Wood Shop, 3301 Salisbury Highway in Statesville. Little Shavers Wood Shop, LILshavers.com.
Attention, fellow conservative investors. What does the name Reagan mean to you? It stands for being the ultimate conservative. It also stands for the Reagan Gold Group. Do you see storm clouds approaching? The stock market hates uncertainty, and there are plenty of reasons to be concerned. High inflation, unstable debt, and economic uncertainty are just a few. You have car insurance, homeowners insurance, and life insurance. But do you have insurance for your retirement savings and your 401k? We urge all fellow conservative investors to learn about the one asset that could help ensure your nest egg doesn't crack under economic pressure. G-O-L-D, gold. Call the one name any conservative investor needs to know about. Reagan Gold Group.
800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. 800-296-1557. That's 800-296.
This is North Carolina Senator Vicki Sawyer. Join me on Fridays at 11 a.m. for our show, We're Just Saying. We'll discuss state and local politics, and as always, take your calls here on News Talk WSIC.
I'm Bryce Johnson with this Unpacking It Sports and Faith Minute. In his Hall of Fame induction speech, former Eagles safety Brian Dawkins said that much of his success could be attributed to the pain that he experienced. His stories of overcoming adversity were great reminders that character development happens during significant seasons of pain and suffering. As followers of Jesus, God uses our desperate seasons of life to reveal himself. Times of testing are used to strengthen us and prepare us to do what he has in store. The Bible tells us, do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though something strange were happening to you. But rejoice insofar as you share Christ's sufferings, that you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed. So today, let's view our pain as an opportunity that can lead to success. Through perseverance, we can glorify God and bless others. I'm Bryce Johnson, and you can unpack that. For more, go to unpackingit.com.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon out after the bell with quarterly sales numbers that by some measures are weaker than expected. Amazon's guidance, meantime, for operating income for this quarter missed estimates. Signs of economic weakness triggering new concerns the Fed isn't cutting interest rates fast enough. We had weaker than expected report on manufacturing, plus a bigger than expected jump in unemployment claims. The Dow down 495 points, S&P 500 down 76, NASDAQ down 405. Not bad news across the board, though. Shares of Meta Platforms avoiding the abyss and finishing more than 4% higher. The Facebook parent reporting better than expected sales in the second quarter, signaling the company's investments in artificial intelligence are helping it sell more targeted ad. Users across Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp reached 3.27 billion. You know how new cars are so expensive? Well, that's helping Carvana as used car sales soar, and shares of Carvana revved higher today. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scoreboard. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. We have another caller into our studio here on the Scoreboard. Let's go ahead and bring them on the air. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the Scoreboard. What do you got for me today?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for taking my call. So I'm a newer listener to the show. Tell me, do you ever talk college football here on the Scoreboard?
Sure, yeah. What you got?
I don't know about you, but personally, I can't wait for the college football season this year. I appreciated before the break you talking about a team in the AL you see as a dark horse to make the playoffs and the Mariners. When it comes to college football, I'm a fan of a team that I think might be a bit of a dark horse in Conference USA, could potentially take the country by storm, and I was just wondering what you think of my Louisiana Tech Bulldogs coming into the season.
Louisiana Tech?
Do you know anything about the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs by chance?
A little bit. I know a little bit about the Bulldogs. They got a nice little program over there. They had a terrible year last year. They won 3 games.
I know. They're hoping to bounce back.
What is it? Let me ask you this. What is it about that team that makes you think that they're a team that can bounce back? And they're Conference USA, man. How are they going to get in the rankings? How are they going to get top 12?
I've heard tell that they have a really excellent pass rush coming off the edge, and that might set them apart a little bit amongst their Conference USA competition.
They do. Well, actually, I don't know if you know this, but the leader of a career in sacks, I believe, is a player out of Louisiana Tech from a couple of years ago. I might be wrong about that, but I believe that the career record for sacks in an NCAA career is held by somebody at Louisiana Tech. So, hey, they obviously know how to get after the quarterback.
100%. Pass rusher U, that's what they call it.
Oh, yes. Pass rusher U, absolutely. Louisiana Tech. You know what? Maybe the Scoreboard will bandwagon Louisiana Tech this year for you.
Why not?
Why not
us?
Why not us, right? Season started. Everybody's undefeated.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call, Joe.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. We'll definitely get more into college football as we get closer. But hey, while we're on the topic, a 12-team playoff, I, for one, could not be more excited, okay? For years and years, I said it was the stupidest thing to have a committee decide who's going to play for the national championship. We're going to, you know what? This team and this team, go play for a national championship. Then we got the 4-team playoff. And, you still have an aspect of, all right, we're going to decide who's ranked 1 through 4. The College Football Playoff Committee has full reign over deciding who's ranked where. And now we go to 12 teams. Now, it's not exactly what I personally want. I want a way somehow to say, okay, here are the teams with the best records. They're going to the playoffs. I don't care what your strength of schedule is. I don't care about any of that. You went undefeated, go play for the playoffs. Why not? Because you know what? You're going to weed out the bad teams anyway doing that. And you're not going to have that many like Conference USA teams who go undefeated and make the playoffs. They're going to lose to an Alabama. They're going to lose to an Oregon. They're going to lose to an Ohio State. So I, for one, can't wait till we get to that aspect. But at least having a 12-team playoff, I feel like it's more fair. You can really see who the top team is going to be this year because the top teams are going to be playing against each other. You got the top 12 ranked teams, and they're going to go into a bracket, and they're going to duke it out for a national championship. I think that's the way it should be. Now, I know everybody's concerned. The schedule is so much longer now. These kids have to play so many more games. Okay, well, if you're playing in the college football playoffs, I think there's a good chance that you're going to be drafted, number one. So get used to those longer schedules because the NFL is going to add an 18th game here in a couple of years. But one thing to keep in mind, especially when it comes to rankings in college football and deciding who's going to be where, yeah, sure, we expanded to 12 teams now, which, remember last year, the question was Florida State, should they be in? Should they not be in? They ended up not being in. They were the 5th seed. They didn't make it. Well, we're not going to argue about who the 5 seed is going to be anymore. We're going to argue about who the 11, who the 12, who the 13 and 14 ranked teams are going to be, because that's where the cutoff line is going to be now to make the playoffs. So you're still going to have the aspect of, the college football playoff committee gets to decide. They have end-all, be-all, full control over who is going to be in the playoffs. And to an extent, yeah, they do have control over that. And we're just moving the line down. I don't know if they're going to expand it anymore in the near future. But just one thing to keep in mind with college football. I am excited about the year this year. I'm looking at this Louisiana Tech roster right now. Just kind of pulled it up while that caller was on the air with us. I don't know any of these guys. I don't know any of them. Haven't heard from them. You know, it's funny. They're the Louisiana Tech website, when you go to their roster, it links everybody's Twitter. So you could go find your favorite player and pull up their Twitter account. Or I guess we should say X account now. Because, it's not Twitter. Jadon Burnett is somebody who you should keep an eye on, by the way. Somebody who could be one of those sack leaders for Louisiana Tech. Yeah, we're gonna stand the blue and the red this year. Louisiana Tech. Maybe they beat LSU. Who knows? I don't even know what their schedule is, to be honest. I don't know anything about Louisiana Tech. I know they're Conference USA, but let's see. Oh, they play NC State. How about that? Louisiana Tech's going to play NC State. I don't know if I'm allowed to root for Louisiana Tech during that game, to be honest. Yeah, I might have to keep my mouth shut on that one. Kennesaw State is a dark horse too, by the way. Anyway, college football is around the corner. I'm excited for it. I know you are. You know what else is around the corner? We already talked about it. The NFL preseason. The Hall of Fame game later on tonight. We're going to start with a little NFL news for you here, as there were a couple of injuries that they're significant and you need to know about it. Number one, and this is the most recent one, out of the Chargers camp, Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Chargers, he was diagnosed with an injury to his plantar fascia in his right foot. Doctors recommend 2 weeks in a boot, followed by gradual return to play protocol, with the expectation that he'll be ready for the start of the regular season. I don't know if I agree with that. I have a feeling that this injury for Herbert is going to keep him sidelined through maybe the first 3 weeks of the season, I'd say. I don't know. With a foot injury and a mobile quarterback like that, they're projected to have a pretty good year this year. And I don't have the over-under in front of me for the Chargers. During the next break, I'll look that up. But they're a team, they got Harbaugh now, national champ. He decided to come back to the NFL. He's going to the Chargers. That's one that you're going to want to keep an eye on. I feel bad for the Chargers, man. Chargers are going to charger. There's a reason that their team name is also a verb. So, one more segment here on the scoreboard today. Man, we had a few callers here. I don't even know if I got to all the things I wanted to talk about today. So when we come back, we'll wrap up some Olympic talk as well, give you a medal count update. USA, they got some golds today. They are not that far behind in the gold medal count now, still dominating in the total medal count. We'll talk a little NFL, some injuries, some updates, and then we'll end with this day in sports history. So do not go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard. We'll be back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, the tough heat hangs on as we round out the work week. Overnight staying muggy and warm, a partly cloudy sky as we fall back into the mid-70s around the Lake Norman area. Another tough day of heat on the way for our Friday, too, as we climb into those mid and upper 90s. Feels like temperatures in the low 100s. Drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, and, of course, getting in the air conditioning from time to time tomorrow afternoon. We'll keep an eye out for a round of scattered thunderstorms for the afternoon and evening. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Birkdale Village in Huntersville welcomes back Dave Scott Crow and his Amusination Academy performance on Thursday, August 1st. Dave's concert and Pick Me Up open mic are events for the kids and the entire family. The show begins at 4:30 p.m. on the green. Parents, grandparents, and kids of all ages are welcome on Thursday afternoon at Birkdale Village for Dave Scott Crow's Amusination Academy. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free concert series on Thursday, August 1st. Langtree Lake Norman is open for eats and drinks all afternoon, with Bad Romeo taking the stage at 7 p.m. From AC/DC to Whitesnake, Bad Romeo will bring back your 80s rock memories. Grab your lawn chairs, arrive early to get your favorite spot, and enjoy Langtree before, during, and after the show. We'll see you in Mooresville Thursday night for the Bad Romeo concert at Langtree Lake Norman. Friday night, Birkdale Village hosts Live Under the Oaks in Huntersville. String Theory presents a free concert from 6 to 8. Birkdale restaurants are open for dinner, while Red Rocks will serve beverages on-site at the concert. Come on out Friday night for the String Theory concert at Birkdale Village. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Saturday, August 17th. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for free early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Folks, here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, we have got the brand new 2025 Chevrolet Traverse in stock, all redesigned from front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Come see them today. We have got a great selection of these new Traverses ready for you to take home. And also, we got great discounts on our Silverado trucks. We got the regular cab, crew cab, double cabs, discounted up to $9,000 off. Great selection, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, right on I-40.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, final segment here on the Scoreboard. I'm going to sit down for this one because, boy, oh boy, breaking news into the studio here and very upsetting news. No, nobody died, I promise. Nobody passed away. Just some really upsetting baseball news for you. It was announced earlier today that Mike Trout will miss the remainder of the season again with a tear in his left knee. This is the same knee that was surgically repaired after he tore his meniscus earlier in the year. Last season, he missed 80 games with a fracture in his left hamate, whatever that is. 2021, he only played 36 games due to a right calf strain. And because of the knee injuries this year, he is only going to appear in 29 games. Man, that's upsetting. Somebody who once was, in my opinion, considered the best player in baseball. We haven't seen him at all. And you're probably not going to see him ever again. I mean, not on a big stage, at least. He's getting up there in age now. You know, Mike Trout is not the young guy we all once thought he was. He's up to 32 years old. His career average has suffered in the past few years with all of his injuries. He's a few home runs shy of the 400 home run club. Man, this is one of the most tragic tales in baseball, in my opinion. The story of Mike Trout and the injuries that have derailed his career. He had batted .300 almost every year he's in the bigs up until the last few years. Now, in 2022, he was able to play 119 games. But here, listen to these. 2021, 36 games. 2023, 82 games. And this year, only 29 games. Just over 100 at-bats. And in those 100 at-bats, he wasn't great. He batted .220, but I'm not going to take that and call it gospel because he barely played. So some unfortunate news here out of baseball. Man, it stinks to see Mike Trout hurt so much. He is an electric ball player. A couple other things that I wanted to chat about here. Katie Ledecky becomes the most decorated American woman in Olympic history as she won a silver medal earlier today in the 4x200 meter relay. Her 13th medal, breaking a tie with Natalie Coughlin, Jenny Thompson, and Dara Torres. Ledecky has 8 golds, 4 silvers, and 1 bronze medal in her Olympic career. That's the one that she got here recently. The 8 golds are just one shy of the women's record, so maybe we'll see it done this year. But Ledecky is only 27 years old, so there's a good chance we see her come back in the next Olympics. Maybe she'll break that record for the most decorated gold medalist for a woman here on home soil. That would be a better story, in my opinion. Simone Biles wins the Olympic all-around title and bronze medal for Suni Lee as well. At 27 years old, so Simone Biles, 27 years old, Katie Ledecky, also 27 years old. She's known for pretty much dominating, but it was a very close call earlier this afternoon. And I'll tell you what, we saw her limping around a few days ago. I wasn't sure that she was actually going to be able to, get through the Olympics again this year with the injuries and whatnot. But hey, proving everyone wrong, took home a gold medal. She's only the 3rd woman to ever win the gold medal in all-around individuals more than one time. So congratulations to Simone Biles. The bookmaker that Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was using has pled guilty in a case that's tied for it. Money laundering and among other charges. I'm going to go ahead and officially say that Ohtani's innocent in this case. I believe him, and I also believe that the interpreter stole his money, basically. And here's one that I wanted to get into. We talked a little college football here. Rodarius Thomas was arrested last week, a Georgia wide receiver, on multiple family violence charges. Well, he was dismissed from the team recently, Kirby Smart announced. I saw this stat recently, and it was a list of colleges and their graduation rate. College football graduation rate since 2016. Georgia Bulldogs rank last on the list. 41%. And it's not even close. 41% for Georgia in terms of football graduation rate. UCLA is the next lowest at 64%. They are the only team where less than half of their college football players graduate. Something's got to change fundamentally over in Georgia. Sure, you're winning championships, but you're not producing great people, so what are you going to do? Clemson was number 1 on that list, by the way. 99% graduation rate since 2016 for college football. I'd say that's pretty good. A couple other things that I wanted to chat about today. Number 1, the overall Olympic medal table. Team USA has a nice 10-medal lead over the next country. That's France. 37 total medals, 27 for France. Here's something for you. Of the 37 medals that Team USA has this year, 20 of them have come in swimming competitions. 4 gold, 10 silvers, and 6 bronze medals for Team USA in swimming. We had a gold medal in fencing as well. 2 gold medals in fencing. Like I said, how do you realize you want to be a fencer? Is that what they call them? Fencers? Also, the men's 4 for rowing won a gold medal earlier today. So the gap in the gold medal race has closed. China has 11. Team USA has 9 gold medals. Then it's France, Australia, and Japan all sitting at 6. Lots of countries have been able to grab some medals here. It looks like we are up to 50 countries who have grabbed a medal in these Olympic Games. Some only having 1 medal. Some of them having quite a few, like Team USA. The NFL preseason begins today, the Hall of Fame game. We are going to see some inductees into the Hall of Fame. So it'll be fun to see what happens there, as Canton, Ohio is going to host the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. Game is at 8 o'clock, just in case you didn't know. And it'll be on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+. Let's go ahead and take a look at some things that happened on this day in sports history as we near the end of the program. Hey, one that I missed yesterday, Kevin Garnett got traded from the Timberwolves to the Celtics on this day yesterday, all those years ago. Completely forgot about that one. Should have thrown that in there, honestly. Oops. Little mistake on my part. I hope you forgive me. Let's see some things that happened on this day. Today is the 1st of August. Babe Ruth hit home run number 42 in a game in 1928. Future Hall of Fame pitcher Carl Hubel sets the MLB record for consecutive scoreless innings. Get this. He threw 45 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings. Whoo! That's dominant right there. It was also on this day, 1970, Willie Stargell hit 2 doubles and 2 home runs in a game that finished 20-10. 1971, here's one for you NASCAR fans. Richard Petty won the Dixie 500 down in Atlanta, Georgia. He became the first NASCAR driver to have $1 million in career earnings with that win. Man, it's only 50 years later here, and $1 million is like what you get for showing up, pretty much. Niki Lauda of Austria suffered a near-fatal crash during the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring on this day in 1961. And Willie McCovey hit NL record 18 NFL. Okay, let me try this one again. San Francisco Giant first baseman Willie McCovey hit NL record 18th MLB career grand slam on this day in 1977. Those are some of the things that happened on this day in sports history. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. I appreciate the phone calls. Appreciate you listening. I'll be here same time tomorrow as we wrap things up on a Friday. Until then, have a good night, everyone.